Did you know strength saves are one of a monster's weakest saving throws? Or how about how often Portent will be useful in a fight? Well, today we're going to be going over these facts as well as my favorite subclass, the Divination Wizard. Hey everybody, my name's Nick Begovich, creator of Wizard of the Tavern. Today we're going to be going over the Divination Wizard. The Divination Wizard was one of the first subclasses ever created for the Wizard in the Player's Handbook for 5th edition, way back in 2014. Since then, it has dominated the playing field as one of the best subclasses of all time, with very few other subclasses coming close to competing for that spot. Its second level ability, Portent, is a game-breaking mechanic that many classes would love to have. Moreover, its other abilities, such as Third Eye and Expert Divination, are great for wizards and synergize very well with what they try to do. So, without further ado, let's go over the Divination Wizard's abilities. The first ability Divination's Wizard get is Portent. Portent is, as mentioned before, a game-breaking mechanic that states, starting at second level, when you choose this school, glimpses of the future begin to press into your awareness. When you finish a long rest, roll 2d20 and record the numbers rolled. You can replace any attack roll, saving throw, or ability check made by you or a creature that you can see within one of these foretelling rolls. You must choose to do so before the roll, and you can replace a roll in this way only once per turn. Each foretelling roll can be used only once, and when you finish a long rest, you lose any unused foretelling rolls. Which, here at Wizard of the Tavern, we actually calculated how useful Portent will be in making a monster fail a saving throw. The data was really interesting, as you can see on the board, and the most notable fact is, on average, we calculated Portent is going to be useful at minimum 78% of the time, and at most 97% of the time. But it just goes to show you how useful Portent is as an ability. At 78 to 97% of the time, you're going to have a roll that's useful on making a monster fail a saving throw. Any other time, you're going to have a roll that is going to guarantee a success on any attack roll, ability check, or saving throw for you or a party member, which is going to help keep your party alive and make you look like the best player out there. Next up on Divination Wizard's subclass abilities is Expert Divination. Expert Divination states that beginning at 6th level, casting divination spells comes so easily to you that it expends only a fraction of your spellcasting efforts. When you cast a divination spell of 2nd level or higher, using a spell slot, you regain 1 expended spell slot. The slot you regain must be of a level lower than the spell you cast, and can't be higher than 5th level. Now, this can be incredibly potent with a certain spell called Mind Spike. It's a divination spell that deals 3d8 damage to an opponent after a save. Mind Spike allows you to be able to cast 91 spells per day using this divination feature. While on paper that does look great, in reality, a wizard using a 3rd level spell to do 3d8 damage and that's it is not that great. After all, even at 2nd level spells, we have spells such as Hold Person, which, with Portent, gives you an 80% chance to force an enemy to fail a saving throw. This can be huge for the party, as it gives all your allies advantage on their attacks, and whenever someone does a melee hit on that enemy, they deal double the amount of damage. This can be huge for ensuring your party's survival. Therefore, Expert Divination's best use comes from using spells such as Arcane Eye that uses 4th level spells to give your party much needed information. By using this here, it allows you to mitigate the cost and give your party the needed information to survive any encounter. The next ability Divination's Wizards get is Third Eye. Third Eye states that at 10th level, every time you rest, you can choose between getting Dark Vision out to a range of 60 feet, being able to see into the ethereal plane within 60 feet, to be able to read any language, or to be able to see invisible creatures and objects within 10 feet of you that are within line of sight. All 4 of these abilities are going to be incredibly useful for any player. However, my personal favorite is Greater Comprehension and being able to read any language. The reason why is this is a bookworm's dream, which most wizards tend to be. However, the best by far is the ability to see invisibility. This is going to be the default one you most likely use, as the ability to see invisible creatures and objects both help in investigations, combat, or any other utility situation. This ignores advantage given by invisible creatures, as well as the ability to have surprise rounds if they're within 10 feet of you, while also helping discover hidden artifacts or stuff like that that are being concealed with invisible charms. It's a shame it's only 10 feet though. The final ability Divination's Wizard get is Greater Portent. Basically, Greater Portent states that starting at 14th level, the vision in your dreams intensify and paint a more accurate picture in your mind for what is to come. You roll 3d20s for your Portent feature rather than 2. If you liked Portent, you're going to love Greater Portent, as the ability to add 1 extra dice roll might not seem like much, but actually on average improves your chances of having a roll needed for a save by 7 to 14%. This means that instead of having a 78% chance minimum for a dice roll to be useful, you have an 85% chance for that dice roll to be useful. On average, this can increase a Divination Wizard's power level by roughly 10.5% for any saving throw, making this a solid boost to the Divination Wizard's power. And that wraps up what the Divination Wizard abilities are. Next comes the part of my favorite section, which is going over my personal suggestions on how to upgrade your Divination Wizard. For the races, I recommend either doing a human variant, a gnome, or a halfling. The reason why is a halfling will give you +2 to dexterity, as well as being able to give you the ability to re-roll ones, thus adding some synergy with your Portent ability. Moreover, the human variant will give you access to feats such as Lucky, or other great feats that are great for your playstyle. And finally, the gnome is one of the only races out there that give you a +2 to intelligence, which is one of the most important factors for playing an effective wizard. Next, we have the spells I suggest. At level 1, I recommend Tasha's Hideous Laughter. At level 2, I recommend getting spells like Hold Person. And finally, at level 3 spells, I recommend spells such as Slow. The reason why is these are all save or suck spells that with your Portent ability allows you to almost guarantee these are going to be effective when you need them. Next on the list comes feats, and by far the biggest feat I can recommend is the Lucky feat. Not only is it incredibly synergistic with what Portent tries to do, but it effectively allows you to control the dice rolls of the game to the point where your DM is going to wonder who's actually DMing these rolls. But if that is not to your liking, I recommend the Bountiful Luck feat. It is a great support feat that both you and your party are going to love to see use of. Finally on my suggestions is personality quirks. My favorite personality quirk I use for my Divination's Wizard is being afraid of the future. Maybe they saw their mother die in the future, and that every time one of their premonitions come true, it just adds more facts that their mother is going to die this way. It adds a great bit of roleplay, which can play off as very tragic or very comical, depending on which style you go with. All in all, the Divination Wizard is going to be an incredibly powerful option for anyone who plays it, because of its ability of Portent. Portent works as a great multi-class option, or even just going all the way in Divination Wizard, as its other abilities are going to be useful and relevant for you in the future. Have a fighter? Well, use your divination roll to make sure their hit is going to actually hit. Or, how about a warlock? Make sure their 2 spells they get per rest are going to actually be effective. The uses of Portent and its other abilities knows no bounds and is only limited by situations you are in. That wraps up our review on the Divination Wizard. If you enjoyed this review and want to see more of them or read more about it, I highly suggest getting our book, linked down below, Wizard Mastery, A Complete Wizard's Guide. Not only is it filled with incredibly useful facts and statistics that are going to be useful for your class, it also goes over important details that aren't mentioned, such as play style, that you will see as an incredibly useful feature for you. Well, I hope you have a wonderful day, and may all your rolls be natural.